You're done. You're washed. It's over.
WPA, prepare to have your ears tortured. It's From the Front Row with Johnathan T. Rokford.
Oh, he'll be alright. Just a twisted ankle from out here. Oh no. Yeah, it was a wild match. Especially, where did he get the pepper spray from? That was kind of messed up. I don't think he knew that he had training. He could, like, only take a couple seconds to readjust his eyes to being sprayed like that. I know, right? What's up, WPA? It's me, Johnathan T. Rokford, here with another edition of From the Front Row. And folks, last week was so exciting. And I don't know, folks. It was some good matches last week. I'm not gonna lie. We start, of course, with our Game Changer Championship matches as the Blueprint, who was on a hot streak, took on Big Mel. Yeah, I mean, he just challenged himself the whole time he had his title. And he did beat Big Mel. And then next he went for James Altraz, former two-time world champion here in WPA. Now, unfortunately, that's where it ended at because James Altraz was able to defeat the Blueprint and become the new Game Changer champion. And as of last night, now he's a former Game Changer champion because he made the mistake of challenging Johnny Rocco. Thanks a lot there, James Altraz. So, where we await who Johnny Rocco will select as his first opponent. This ought to be interesting. Yeah. You think he's going to do a sneak attack? I think he's going to do a sneak attack. 1 minute before expiration date time. Just call somebody out. Now, in our first match, it was the First Lady, Alexa Leslie, taking on Katz and Corey. And the First Lady got on track and picked up the win against Katz and Corey, a former champion in his own right. Yeah, following that, Casper 2779 took on the Emperor 2K9 Millennium, and both of them showed up, folks. Thank God. We actually got a match between the two. Only Casper was able to pick up the win, which I opinion he kind of needed. And don't get it twisted, folks. The Emperor can be crafty and very slick. So it was a pretty good win. Now, of course, we always have that one match where somebody doesn't show up, and Lady Assassin took note of that and did the smart thing. Instead of sitting on commentary, she made the referee ring the bell and count to 10 to pick up the win. Then she went and sat on commentary. Now, she would be joined on commentary by the Pinnacle, Adrian Christopher, whose opponent also didn't show. What has been up with Brasso? Yeah. Is he still here? Killer Goons might need to go check on him. Like, seriously, because, like, the guy's just, like, not showing up. I mean, what was that one guy they had? The one that they kept not showing up, and then they wound up kicking him out. They beat him down and then kicked him out. I can't remember his name. It'll come to me. Now, Jermaine Walker took on the IC champion, Badass Eddie Vendetti, folks. And just to prove a point, he beat him. That's probably why you don't take the Lord's name in vain. Yeah, I know he calls himself God, but that's not how the saying goes. But it says, "I shall not take the Lord's name in vain." Oh, no, it says, "The Lord thy God." Either way, Jermaine Walker beat him, which was very good for him because he's got a title match this week against Captain Mexico. So that was a good warm-up match. I mean, hey, Badass Eddie Vendetti ain't no slouch. No, not by any means, folks. I mean, the guy can go. Especially when there's a title at hand. Yeah, that guy can get titles. I mean, hats off to him. Hey, he's our first ever trivia contest winner. So, hey. Now, in a rare occurrence, Kwani Fist picked up a win, folks, beating the South Bronx Savage. Good job, Kwani. The Beast took on the notorious JP DiMaggio and picked up a win. He desperately needed a win. I mean, that guy's been sucking ass since he lost to Johnny Rocco in a world title match. Well, actually, he was kind of sucking before that. When he lost his title. Yeah, up and down, but yeah, after Johnny Rocco beat him, it just, whoa. So that was a pretty good win, especially over JP DiMaggio, who's been kind of hot lately. No, minus the loss of his title, but it was on fire. I mean, shit. Now, Cloudy Diggs took on Red Death, and Red Death was able to pick up the win. Folks, I'm telling you, these were some good matches. I don't, some good matchups, minus the ones that didn't show up, but there were some tough matches. We haven't even gotten to the number one contender matches yet. Holy crap. Asshole Booker was not playing last week. But Red Death did pick up the win. Now, in a very interesting match, Big Mel took on James Alcatraz, the number one contender to the IC title, and was able to defeat him. Now, considering Big Mel's position in the rankings, you might think that, hey, he might be up for an IC title match. I mean, me personally, IC World. I mean, just because he's a tag, well, he's going for a tag team title. If he wins that, it doesn't preclude him from going for it. You know, defend one title 1 week, defend the bigger title at the pay-per-view. Should be simple. They'll figure it out. Now, Captain Mexico took on the sponsored athlete Jayla Masters and suffered a defeat, which not good going into this week when he's going to be facing Jermaine Walker with his title on the line. Now, of course, there's the usual, I beat the world champ. Hey, actually, he didn't even know the guy was the world champ when he was facing him. That's crazy. But there's the usual, folks. I beat the world champ. I should get a title match with the world champ, and I have to qualify. Let me. I'm gonna get on that in a minute, Flip, because that's why we have number one contender matches, folks. With the exception of the U.S. title. Yeah, I usually just pick the strongest opponent. Try to pick the strongest opponent based on their performance. But we'll get into that in a minute because I got a little to say on that. Now, in a match that our own Melvin, poor Melvin, oh, he was injured during this match as the Darkstalker and Johnny Rocco faced each other in the Fairfield, Birmingham Asylum death match. And that match brought out the violent side of both individuals and ended in no contest. How did Melvin get hurt? He twisted his ankle when he was leaving. Yeah, when he went down the stairs, they didn't clean the stairs off, so yeah. Nah, he'll be alright. What? Oh, you think the Darkstalker got old? Hell no. Fuck no. Darkstalker couldn't catch Melvin if he tried. Oh, I mean, there was all kinds of things. There was thumbtacks. There was baseball bats with barbed wire. Somebody got set on fire. There was some pepper spray involved. Yeah. But luckily, like I said, we had protection from Melvin and Nan, just in case the Darkstalker tried anything. We did have security there, and it's some top-notch security too. Yeah, it's Phillips' security team. You know, the one he hired after Johnny Rocco whipped his ass. Yeah, that security team. Yeah. But yeah, no contest, folks. I have a feeling that's not finished. We'll see. We moved on to number one contender matches, and our first one was, of course, the number one contender match for the Triple Threat Championship. And in match one, we saw the Super Champion King take on Money MF and Mike and Polish Power. And the Super Champion King, who has been heating up lately, pinned Money MF and Mike to move on to the next chapter of this saga. Now, match two saw Sean Puff versus HKO Jason Shepard and the Idol Steve Sampson. And HKO pinned the Idol, which brings me to what I have a rant about, folks. Get your popcorn out, folks. What? Wait till the end. But I'm not going to remember that. Now, folks, before we started taping, I had to go look some stuff up, folks. And I'm a little confused. And this is where I was talking about Jalen Masters. As much as we like Jalen Masters, and he is tough to beat, three or four people would dispute that claim, as they have beaten him. And he's currently sitting at number 26 in the standings with 2 wins, a draw, and I believe, 6 losses? Something like that. That's only 2 below Sean Puff, who has 4 wins and 7 losses, folks. Oh, no. And you know, if he sees this, he can try to talk and spin it any way he wants to, but you can't argue facts. I warned you last show. If you lost this match, I was coming for you. So let's get into it. Before Jalen Masters, and you beat Jalen Masters. Significant win, even though he was ranked kind of low. But you're currently sitting at number 24 in the current standings at 4-7. Before Jalen Masters, your win was Kwani Fist. And I don't mean to insult or disrespect Kwani Fist. I mean, he's a former champion in his own right. He actually held the titles longer than Sean Puff. But that was your last win before Jalen Masters. After that, you have a number one contender match for the IC title. You lost. 1-on-1 with James Altraz. You lost. A match that Sean Puff asked for against South Bronx Savage. You lost. You lost to Big Mel. Again, to the point that he doesn't even want to face you. It's not worth his time. He's got other aspirations. Like being a 2-time Grand Slam champion. You lost to Jermaine Walker in a TV championship match that he put you in. You didn't even have to qualify. He went to the powers that be and said, give me a match versus Sean Puff for my title. Never mind, it's the title that he just decided he didn't want anymore and just vacated. He didn't even lose it. You got put into a U.S. title match with Fat Thomas. And when I say put, it wasn't Fat Thomas that picked you. It was the powers that be that picked you. And you lost. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven one-on-one matches. And you won 2 of them. 2 of them were for titles. You got pinned in the Trios Championship match that you didn't have to qualify for, you or your order members. And you got pinned by the Beast, who only has, what, 2, 3 wins to his name. And just recently, you were put in a triple threat match with a chance to go face the other 2 in a triple threat title match. And you lost. You didn't get pinned, of course, but you didn't win. So you lost. You kind of see where we're going with this, right? You know, you guys keep whining about, oh, they're playing favorites, putting people in matches. You must not pay attention to what actually goes on around here. You couldn't. You really couldn't. Because otherwise you would have known that this week we're in, a week or 2 ago, it was said there were 3 people getting rematches. Well, technically 5, 4 rather. Tag team champs, because of their great run, we're getting a rematch for their tag team titles. JP DiMaggio was getting a rematch because of his great run as a U.S. champ. Jermaine Walker was getting a rematch because of his run with the world title after he regained it. And James Altrez won a number 1 contender match to face the IC champ. So I'm having trouble understanding, what are you whining about? You're ranked 26. You know what happens to everybody ranked under 15? They get put in the most stupidest matches I've ever seen in my life. But sometimes those matches are actually pretty good. They also tend to go for the triple threat title. It's a fact. It's what the booker looks at. Now there's the rare occasions when, well, I don't know, we have like a mega week. They kind of relax that ranking a little bit. And they look at who's been in recent title matches and which ones they were. And they give some people who are ranked low a chance to elevate themselves to a higher title. But it's kind of weird how some people who keep calling people snowflakes are the ones whining. And I'm telling you right now, if you make a video in response to this, I'm going to bring some toilet paper to wipe my screen off all the shit that's going to come out your mouth. I've never seen a guy get more chances to get a title and fail and then complain about getting chances and people playing favorites. Your own faction member lost a match and got put into number 1 contender matches. Your own faction members, they lost matches. And I'm gonna get into that. I've seen that before. I've seen the First Lady lose a match and then the very next week be put in the #1 contender match. And to her credit, 9 times out of 10 she wins those and goes on and takes a title. That's what she does. What she does. Badass Eddie Vendetta can lose a match one week, next week, bam, #1 contender match, bam, go for the title, bam, get the title. I think you probably need to look in the mirror there. You'll see where the problem is. Trust me. Now, our next #1 contender match was for the television championship, and it was Lycan Umbers who got screwed over by his partner. He was facing the Street Fight King. And Lycan Umbers, to his credit, came out on top and will be going on to face the television champion this week. In the tag team championship, which started out 2 weeks ago, actually, finally ended, folks, as Johnathan and the Messiah were able to finally defeat Mac Blakely and Bobby Blaze when Johnathan pinned Mac Blakely. Remember that. And let's keep in mind that Mac Blakely was just put in the tag team match. It's like being hired as soon as you walked in the door. And they put on a hell of a match, too. They don't need to hold their head down. In our triple threat championship match, it was Draven the Sledgehammer versus Crusher LB versus Wolf Knight versus Martel the Carpenter. And we had a double pin, folks, which will tend to happen every now and then here in the fatal 4-way for a triple threat title. And I know that sounds confusing, but hey, roll with it. Crusher LB pinned Draven, and Wolf Knight, who seemed to look like he was injured, pinned Martel the Carpenter, which does not surprise me one bit. Nope. Martel getting pinned surprise you? Nope. Now, like I said, Wolf Knight appeared to seemed like he had suffered an injury during the match, and he is out for safety protocol, healing up, and he will get his title match upon his return. Pay attention, folks. He will not have to go through a #1 contender match. He will be placed in the championship match because he already qualified. No, that's happened plenty of times before. In our television championship, Money defeated Shepard Bane. Folks, Money might be back. He was probably one of our most dominant television champions. I mean, when he first popped on the scene, I'd say the Beast is probably the second. That's another thing. We'll get into that in a minute. And in our main event, Fat Thomas took on the Blueprint Jackson Aries, who's been on a hot streak lately. But that match ended with a time limit draw as neither one could seem to gain the advantage and keep it. Coming up this week, folks, Full Gear, as the Machete Ramos will take on the Brasso and Emperor 2K Anomalium in a dark triple threat match. Captain Casper 2779 will take on Red Death. Money MF and Mike will take on Martel the Carpenter. The Idol Steve Sampson versus Polish Power Draven the Sledgehammer will be taking on David the Beast Smith. Johnny Rocco will take on Shepard Bane. South Bronx Savage will renew a rivalry he once had with Street Fight King. And Sean Puff will be taking on the Darkstalker. I can't wait to see that match. And our #1 contender match for the Triple Threat Championship. Match 1 will see the Commish take on Quanty Fist and Cloudy Diggs. And match 2 will see Cats and Corey take on Lady Assassin and Mac Blakely. That's why I said, watch this, folks. We just had, that's two guys that just lost a tag team title match. They're getting an opportunity to go for the triple threat title. Just like that. But yet, there's favorites being played, right? The First Lady, Alexa Leslie, will be taking on Bobby Blaze. There's the partner to Mac Blakely, who lost the tag team title match. In our Intercontinental #1 contender match, the Blueprint, Jackson Aries will be taking on the Pinnacle of Humanity, Adrian Christopher. Tag team titles will be on the line as Nurk and Hante and the Messiah will take on Killer Goons, Big Mel, and the sponsored athlete Jayla Masters, who will be coming in hot, folks. And by all expectations, betting odds are that the Killer Goons will regain those titles. Triple Threat Championship will be the Super Champion King versus HKO, Jason Shepard versus Crusher LB. And our Television Championship, Money will be taking on Lycan Umbris. Fat Thomas will be taking on the notorious JP DiMaggio. And Captain Mexico will be taking on Jermaine Walker. Also in our Intercontinental Championship match, Badass Eddie Vendetti will be taking on the #1 contender. Notice, I said #1 contender, James Alcatraz. And that is Full Gear in a nutshell, folks. Folks, seriously though, you make no sense. I mean, seriously, you make little to no sense. You can't be ranked in the bottom 20 and think you're supposed to get a title shot just handed to you. Top 10 says that I could probably roll with them. I could probably agree with them on that. Like if Big Mel said, hey, I think I just deserve a title shot. I mean, granted, it'd be up to the champion to just take it, but there's a couple things that need to be worked out there. But you're not going to just hop over people to get a shot. Like I said, they're case by case scenarios. I mean, you can, like I said, you can go and try to push a champ's button and see if he takes the bait. Or as I like to call it, begging in a certain point of view way. You guys need to step it up. Win. Take those matches that aren't pay-per-view quality and beat the people. Move up the rankings. I'm sorry, you can't tell me, oh, I get put in multi-man matches and blah, blah, blah. You're not the only one in the match. People win those every week. Meanwhile, you have people who go out there and they face anybody. They win, they lose. You never hear a peep out of them. And then when they get an opportunity, they try to make the most of it. Hell, Johnny Rocco, I think he gets put once a quarter in a title match. Or a #1 contender match for a title. He doesn't get put in a title match. I think he's already reached his quota. Well, he was put into the triple threat, the trios title match, and they won it. So there's that. But that just goes to show you when you put in one, hey, make the most of it. No, Flip, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, it's getting kind of a. Remember when Big Mel and Jalen Matthews did it all the time? He's like, oh, and then they stopped. Now you got the Sean Puff guy. Just, it's a conspiracy, is this, is that. And Messiah's one of them too. Like, seriously, dude. Every time I turn around, you're in a #1 contender match. Don't make me look it up. Because I will. I hate to give you guys a history, but you can argue everything under the sun, but you can't argue facts, folks. I'm sorry. There's a reason why we have that book. There's a reason why things are archived. Because the minute you start spouting off, all we gotta do is turn pages and pull up failure after failure after failure, success after failure after failure. And yet, you try to write a narrative that paints a picture that's a fake Picasso, a fake Van Gogh, fake $20 bill, a non-alcoholic beer. That's disgusting. You should be put in jail for shit like that. But that's all I got, folks. You don't like what I had to say? Hell, go out and win some matches. Change the narrative. That's how you change it. You go out and win. Go out and make yourself relevant. Now, I can say somebody's tough, but your record kind of shows otherwise. And you better change it quick because, well, pretty soon Melvin will be back. Then it's going to get really tight. You think that's good enough? Flip. That's good? All right. Glad the voiceover guy didn't say anything. That's all I got, folks. Philip will be here in a minute to go over his pick of the week. Actually, a very good pick, too. I agree with it. Remember, folks, hug your loved ones. Tell them you love them. Pick up the phone and call that friend that might need to hear your voice, especially after watching this one. They might need some comforting. And don't drink and drive, folks. It's holiday season. People like to go make it home safely. Remember, be careful on Black Friday when it comes up. And stock up. Don't wait till the last minute. No, Flip, I'm serious because it's dumb. I mean, you just look so stupid. I'm surprised people even answer them. And you know what the thing about it is? It's about as dumb as saying something in a post without reading. The answer is probably there. I mean, gee whiz. Huh? No, he won't have a cast on. Say what? He posted something about the Darkstalker. What? Oh my God, I can't believe he did that. Ooh. We better reinforce the locks on the door. Today, WPA, once again, I'm here to divulge my pick of the week. If you don't know who I am, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am, of course, Philip Alexander Carrington IV. This week, I watched as my pick decimated, picked apart his opponent, en route to a very extraordinary win. He's a man that Johnathan claims is the toughest SOB in WPA. I speak, of course, of the sponsored athlete, Jay Lamaster. You know, even without a very effort he puts into his matches, he is still very competitive and dangerous. You watched as he took Johnny Rocco to the limit 1 week. Then he followed that up with a win over our world champion. This week, he will team with his partner who is equally as tough, Big Mel, as they go for tag team gold once again. A lot could be said about the sponsored athlete. He's tough. He shows true grit. True fighter. Mr. Lamasters, I've watched as you've won championships. I've watched as you defeated gods. He's a man who you do not speak of unless you want to fight. It goes without question or saying. What is that he says? Ah, yes. That is on the brand. That is also all I have. As always, keep in mind, I will be watching. And to that, I bid you a good day. I said